Let's start with Donald Trump and how he has pwned the Republican Party. Um, what brought this to my attention was watching Marco Rubio on State of the Union with Jake Tapper on yesterday, and seeing Marco Rubio genuflect before Donald Trump and do everything in his power to find himself in the good graces of a Trump Republican Party, despite everything that he said anti-Trump in the primaries. Now, under normal circumstances, this is exactly what you do. You fight a hell of a campaign, which I don't think Marco Rubio did, but he fought. You fight a hell of a campaign, and then once the nominee comes out, you fall in line. This is what politicians have been doing for a very long time. The difference is we're talking about a man who, at his own word, is by far the most insane politician that we've seen in a long time. And we'll talk about the comparisons to Hillary Clinton in a minute, but just on Donald Trump's own words, Donald Trump is a sociopath now in charge of one of our two major political parties. And that's part of the problem right there, is that we only have two major political parties, but we'll talk about that in a second. But it's still at the fundamental core of the conversation. Donald J. Trump is the leader of the Republican Party now. And we saw the party itself and the chairman, Reince Priebus, we saw him shift gears right towards the end of, I forgot was the last state before they declared that he was going to be the presumptive nominee. But you saw the party, the infrastructure, the GOP, the people in power right now who want to maintain power. You saw them line up right away. The problem is with Reince, whatever you call them, Priebus and Marco Rubio and all the rest of them, is that they have decided to fall in line with somebody who is decidedly a white nationalist, because even if he himself is not a devout white nationalists are in good graces with Donald Trump. You know, it's like that cartoon from Fox News, from The Simpsons, where it says, Fox News, not racist, but #1 with racists. And so I don't care how you cut it. Donald Trump may just be playing a character on TV, which I genuinely think he is. I think he's just playing a character. But the character he has chosen to play makes him #1 with racists, makes him #1 with the very worst and the dredges of our society. They've come out in full support of Donald Trump. This is nothing new. And the reason I always say, and I'll still say it now, Donald Trump doesn't scare me. This is not a scare tactic, but it's just the realization that the political parties have no central identity to which they are committed, that they will not overturn or completely dismiss for the purposes of maintaining political power. And this goes both ways with the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party. People tend to think that their party is, they line up on the side of their political football team and think only the best of their political parties, and they think that their political parties represents the best of America, and then the opposition represents the worst of America. That's generally what people think when it comes down to political parties. The problem is they don't realize that their party itself has no ideology to which it is fundamentally committed. We have seen throughout American history where political parties have shifted. They've shifted their ideologies. They've shifted what they stood for. There has been a realignment in the past, and I kind of think that we're going through a realignment now. But the point is, it is amazing to see people who call themselves having principled dissent against and opposition towards Donald Trump all falling in line, one after the other, like good Republicans, behind a maniac. I can't really say that I'm surprised, simply because that is what political parties do. That's what people who are more concerned with political power than they are their own central guiding morality or ideology or whatever the hell you want to call it. People who are more focused on maintaining and obtaining power are willing to lay down what they believe in exchange to be in the good graces of a political party. And what's fascinating is that you wouldn't know whether I was talking about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party if I didn't preface what I just said to be about Donald Trump, because both political parties do this. We see this with the Democratic Party, particularly with the DLC, the Democratic Leadership Council. We saw how they took over the party economically by being the fundraising powerhouse of the Democratic Party. And then we saw the party itself fall right in line with ideologies that are contrary to the fundamental principles that built the Democratic Party. And so this idea that your political team is the winner and they're the best ones and everybody else is just disillusioned or they're crazy or whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is, you're just one insane politician away, or you're just one opportunistic, sociopathic politician away from aligning with a political party that will line up with someone who is dangerous for America, someone who's dangerous for our political, our international community, someone who's dangerous for every demographic except for you're just one politician away from being so committed to political power that you're willing to betray your political ideology. And that's what I saw when I saw Marco Rubio just fall in line like a good little boy. So committed. That's what you see with Dick Cheney. One thing Dick Cheney is not going to do is lose political power. I mean, we don't expect much from someone like Dick Cheney. I don't think anyone does. But for him to align with someone as reckless as Donald Trump speaks to the lengths to which people will go to maintain a foot in the door for political power. Now, here's something that about Donald Trump on his side of the equation that I find a little bit surprising, but I guess inevitable. The fact that he is, as much as he's still talking trash about Republicans, he is embracing the RNC. He is embracing the political establishment of the Republican Party. He is in bed with them now. He's counting on them for research. He's counting on them for boots on the ground. He's counting on them for fundraising dollars. So Donald Trump, this outsider that everyone loves, all these people who love Donald Trump because he tells it like it is, and he's the person that is going to stick it to the establishment. Donald Trump is now establishment. Donald Trump is the establishment candidate, and he has the full backing of the establishment, with the exception of a few dissenting voices like the Bush family and Mitt Romney and Bill Kristol, if you want to count him. So this is the fascinating thing. So now it reminds me of times in history when political parties could have been there to be a buffer against a strong man, but instead they aligned with the strong man for the purposes of maintaining political power. And the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is simply this: do not put your faith in a political party, period. That's the moral of the story. Because if you put your faith in a political party and not your own set of guiding principles, then you'll find yourself running behind whoever is at the top of your political party and find yourself justifying everything that they do because it's done in the name of your political party, instead of being a principled dissenter who says, I cannot align with what this person who is representing my party says, does, or is going to do. And so for a fleeting moment there, I was proud of the Republican Party because they were doing everything they could to stop Donald Trump. But now they have completely acquiesced to his demands. They are completely rolling over for him, and they are essentially all beholden to Donald Trump. Now, this is exactly what they deserve.